Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner Studio, and with me today is Lieutenant Robbie Seal and Sergeant Terry Fritts from the Warren County Sheriff's Office, and it's time again to tell us what's happening at the Sheriff's Office and what kind of things you're doing in the community.
There's a lot going on.
We have a long list of stuff. For the next 4 months, we have events very frequently.
Right.
So some of the past events we just got done doing, we partnered with State Farm to conduct their Easter egg hunt down at Fantasyland.
Right.
That was a successful event. Lots of kids. We did the fingerprinting with the Child Safe ID kit that the Moose had donated to us. We also did the Virginia Hills Easter egg event. Lieutenant Seal and Sheriff Butler was up there for that, and that was a very successful event as well.
That was actually on a rainy day, and we thought it was going to be a wash, no pun intended.
Well,
it was really windy, though.
But it actually turned, the sun came out, and people just showed up. Had a great time. Had a real great time.
Good.
And then the last event we just did this past, on the 6th, Dynamic Life had requested us in our Easter Bunny contacts to bring the Easter Bunny along with a deputy on Main Street at their coffee shop.
Right. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun down there, a lot of good pictures. Good event.
That's good.
So,
people like that. It's good for the police to be seen in a different light than, saying press hard 5 copies. In
our office, we probably do more public relation events and engage the community in more positive roles than, as you were saying, the press hard 5 copies.
Right.
I mean, that's an unfortunate necessity of the job.
Sure.
People do commit crimes.
Sure.
People do speed. So there is going to be the enforcement. But we also try to balance it out by doing some good stuff in the community.
That's part of that term, community policing, I think. People get involved if they feel comfortable with the police, the sheriff. They're more likely to engage and be forthcoming and, cooperate and see things. And
I always say
you can't do it by yourself. I mean, that's for sure. We already know that.
I always say, if you want to be the consummate law enforcement officer and you have to write tickets, if you get a thank you, if you get a thank you for issuing that ticket, then you've been the consummate professional.
That's true.
I always got a thank you.
Yeah.
For the most part, I always got. If I had to write a ticket, I always got a thank you, and a lot of that has to do with presence and how you articulate with that driver.
Sure.
Obviously, if you see a number of violations, then you're using discretion, and you say, "Well, I'm not going to cite you for those other 3 or 4, but this one I have to." So, and what do you get? You get a thank you. Then you're doing your job fairly.
Yeah. That's true. That's what you want to do.
You do.
And I think people treat you watch these YouTube videos, but you watch these videos and the way the police officer's just standing there being as nice as can be, and the public is just screaming and yelling and telling him off, and that's a hard road.
Yeah, sometimes no matter what you do, you're going to have somebody that's not going to be happy with what you have to do. Because it is your job.
Sure.
I mean, no different than somebody working at McDonald's. They can't give away the food.
Well,
There's an expectation for you to do your job.
They get belittled too. I mean,
they do. It's a no-win situation.
Yeah. So you guys have been really busy, though. I mean, I think it's good to be in the community. And
it is, Mike. It really is. It's just, you talk about our community policing initiatives that we're doing now under the sheriff, and it's put a new, really, community policing. He's put a new definition of what community policing is with what Terry and I are doing with the and the rest of the staff, our patrol deputies out there and their interaction with the public. So, partnering with the community it's been a fantastic experience. As long as I've been doing this, it's opened my eyes to really the right way of going out there and partnering your sheriff's office, your law enforcement agency with the community. And we've really excelled in that.
And like I say, you're meeting people and knowing people and getting involved in things that you would have never been exposed to before. And so it's good for both sides. I think.
It's kind of like our office motto. Sheriff Butler came up with the motto of "we," and then we modified the "we" to show together we make a difference. And it's very true. If we can partner with these different entities, and even like partnering with the Royal Examiner to do these talks, together we make a difference in somebody's life. We may not know it, but by engaging in these community partnerships, we're providing services, increasing the quality of life for many people. And that's like one of our focuses for Triad, to help increase the quality of life for our seniors and to prevent victimization. So we do these events in hopes that we are helping somebody and increase their quality of life.
Even those little Easter egg hunt things, that might be the only touch that kid had for that day. We don't know. I mean, and put a little spark in their life, and they had a little joy for just a couple hours. You just never know how you touch somebody.
You just touched on. I know we got, but I got to tell you this story. I actually signed up for Fitness Evolution membership the other week and everything, and the two ladies there behind
That's
the
a
counter.
good plug, but he's an advertiser on the road. That's okay.
Well, Valley Health, they closed my gym in Luray, so I had to, and of course I just had my knee done, so I had to, obviously continue my physical therapy.
He's now the 695 man.
That's right. But you talk about the impact that you have on people's lives. Mm-hmm. And going back to Fitness Evolution, I've signed up and everything, and I was speaking with the two girls there, and I said, as long as I've been doing this, I said, I think they asked me, I said, if someone was to ask me in all the years I've been doing this, what's the greatest thing I've accomplished? And I said, well, that's a very easy answer. I said, because in my whole career, I said, my sole accomplishment was if I had to be called to someone's house and speak to a person in their time of need, if it was just for, that minute, that hour, whatever, and I can make them smile, then I've done my job, for whatever's going on in their lives, them being distraught, domestic issues, what have you. If I can make them smile just for that moment, and make them feel better about themselves.
Sure.
Then I did my job.
Put a little spark of joy in someone's life. That's good.
And when I said that, I had those two ladies bawling. They were crying. I said,
you're making all the women cry.
I said, stop. I said, stop crying. You're going to make me cry. I mean, but no, that was that. That's how I pride.
That's good.
That's how I pride. Doing the job and what I do out there. With meeting the people, so
well, we hope you keep doing it for a few more days.
I hope to do so.
So you got a long list here. We better get on it before Robbie takes up all the time.
That's right.
So for the month of April, we have a number of events coming up. We were asked to speak at the SAAM Vigil at the gazebo. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a deputy go down there, Investigator High Duke. She helps with our ICAC investigations. Mm-hmm. We felt she would be a very good speaker to speak at the SAAM Vigil, which is the Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The Laurel Center, great program
Isn't that tonight?
There. The 13th.
Oh,
so
the
yes,
13th.
it is tonight.
It is tonight, the 13th.
At 7
okay.
p.m. So we will have somebody there for that. Mm-hmm. This weekend, we have a busy weekend. Pretty much every weekend for the month of April, we have some sort of an event. Adventure Enablers has a bike event on the 15th. We also are going to be partnering with DSS for their DSS Jubilee on the 15th. Mm-hmm.
And that's out there at the track. They're going to be putting that on.
Yes, at the 15th Street School, Diversified Minds. Or
there's a lot of people involved in that. That's a great work.
Yeah, DSS does a great job with their Jubilee. We partnered with them in October for their Halloween Jubilee, which was a very well-attended event. So I imagine this one will be as well. Next week, we are doing Dare Day. So all of our fifth graders that graduate Dare, we're going to have a fun activity day for them. It's going to be down at Bing Crosby Park. We're going to have a number of our deputies down there just engaging a positive experience there.
Is McGruff going to be there? Is that McGruff? Is that the right name? Is
that's the crime prevention or crime solvers, McGruff.
Okay.
But there's the Dare Lion is the new thing now. So I don't know. It may fit Robbie. I'm not sure.
It may fit Robbie.
Was that Dare Lion?
Yeah.
I do have a roar about me.
That Dare Day. A lot of people, mixed feelings about how Dare works, but I think overall it's been.
It does
good.
because Dare it's evolved over the years. It's not just drug awareness. It's about being a good human being. It teaches a little more than just drug awareness.
Right. It's focused on the fifth graders primarily.
It is, and that's the scope of Dare is fifth grade. So you have to teach to that level. We have other programs, Virginia Rules, if you're aware of that. It's a program of the Attorney General's office. It has some elements of Dare, but it expands into other law topics, shoplifting, cyberbullying, other violence, substance abuse. And many, many more topics. You can go to Virginia Rules website, and it's a sub-website of the Attorney General for Virginia. We teach that in the schools, middle school and high school. And it's also going to be a big component of our upcoming program. I'll kind of jump ahead a little bit for that since it ties in. We are establishing a youth mentoring program to where we will have a class in each one of the middle schools and each one of the high schools after school. And it will be targeted towards our at-risk or delinquent juveniles. And it can be referred to from from any of our community partners. So like the court systems, juvenile intake or CSU, DSS, we can make the referrals directly. Parents or guardians can make a referral if they feel that their child is at risk and would like to have them explore more training opportunities and mentorship. They can make a referral. There's going to be 8 classes for each session over a span of from September to December and then February to May. And it will be every other week at one of those schools based on that age range.
Okay.
That's going to be a component of our certified crime prevention community that we are working towards. We're hoping to have an application submitted very soon. Hopefully, I think June 15th may be the target for us to submit that application. Going back to some of the events, part of the certified crime prevention community is having a CAC. So we have an upcoming CAC meeting.
And that stands for?
It's the Citizens Advisory Council.
I want to make sure you knew what that was.
Yeah. It's going to be April 20th at the Sheriff's Office at 6 p.m. We'd like to invite anybody from the public if you would like to attend and hear directly from the Sheriff, Major, Lieutenant Seal, and myself. We'd be glad to have you guys come in. The CAC is established so that way if you have issues within the community, you can bring it directly to us, hear directly from the Sheriff, hear directly from the community policing unit, myself and Robbie, and all the events that we have upcoming within the community and how you can be a part of them. Some of the other stuff we have going on, we have Neighborhood Cleanup Day with Habitat for Humanity. They reached out and said that they're going to be doing some cleanup on Osage Street.
Right. I talked to Amanda Slade about that the other day, and she said, it's just kind of run down, and they want to put a new spin on Osage Street. It just had a bad rap, but now they're starting to get homeowners there, and the renters are coming, and so she just wants to put a little some new life into Osage Street. That's good.
Yeah.
So.
They've reached out to us. We agreed to help be a partner for that. Lieutenant Seal and myself will be out there helping out with the cleanup day.
Good.
Other notable things coming up on the 22nd, there's 3 events that I'm aware of in the community. Earth Day, and that'll be a celebration downtown.
Right.
Then we have the Browntown Redbud Festival. We will be a part of that one as well. Lieutenant Seal, Sheriff Butler, and we have some communication officers that's going to plan on attending that event. And at the same time, we had the DEA Drug TakeBack Day.
Well, that'll be a busy day.
That's a huge busy day for
You're
us.
involved a lot in that.
So we're divided. Terry will be taking care of that one, and I'll be at Redbud.
I'll do the DEA Drug TakeBack Day.
All the baked goods that'll be down. I know who's going down there. Them little ladies out in Browntown.
It works out nice because my brother, he's the Valley Health pharmacist, so we usually work together for the DEA Drug TakeBack Day.
Right.
He helps us. He brings a sharps container, and we'll accept some stuff to take back.
And you're
to the
doing
hospital.
that here on Commerce Avenue?
Yes.
At the Valley Health facility.
Yeah, same spot it's been for the last few years.
Yeah.
It's
It's
the old
amazing the
urgent
amount
care.
of stuff that shows up, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is.
We average about 100 pounds, give or take a little bit, each time we do this.
Yeah, that's great.
So if you have any unwanted medications or unused medications that you want to dispose of, you can bring it to us on the DEA Drug Takeback Day. It's 10 to 2 at the old urgent care building on Commerce Avenue.
You could just
Please do not flush your drugs down the toilet. Don't do that. That's not good.
If you missed the DEA Drug Takeback Day, we have another one that will be scheduled in October. Usually it's April and October of every year. And for some reason, if you have drugs that you want to get rid of between now and then, we have the deterrent drug neutralizing pouches. So we have them at the Sheriff's Office. They are free, and you can come get as many as you need. You may also contact your local pharmacy. They may accept drugs on take-back outside of the drug take-back days.
Right.
Thank you for that. That's one less thing I can talk about.
Oh, you see, he's marking stuff off his list. He's got 3 things on his list, and you got 32.
Well, you know how I elaborate. So the less you have on my list, the better off you are.
So continuing with the month of April, on April 26th, we're going to continue our partnership. We have the monthly reading at Samuel's Public Library, Reading with the Sheriff. We will be there again. We love doing that. It's a great program. We engage with some of the younger youth, like the early 4 or 5-year-old.
Isn't it amazing how many of those kids show up?
It's a lot there.
A lot of parents. The library is just overwhelmed. And then they've just remodeled that section of the library, and it's It's amazing. All the kids that show up for that thing. It's great.
And Samuel's Library does a great job with all the events that they do throughout the month.
They got a longer list than you do.
They do. And they invite us to some of them.
Sure.
And we want to thank Samuel's Library. They're going to be a part of our Dare Day, helping do some of the face paint.
Good.
And also, we are doing the Ride with Rotary. That's another event. We'll have a deputy in the area on the 29th.
You notice now that he's got a good knee, he can get on that bicycle with that little bitty skinny seat and ride his bicycle at
Warren County
26.
Bike Patrol.
That's right. Remember that?
Well, I tell you what, that little skinny seat's going to have to be changed back to
Tractor
us
seat.
again.
So also on April 29th, we were invited to the Rockland Church Prayer Garden dedication. I will be there for that. The Lieutenant Governor, I believe, is planned to be there.
They built a nice facility out there, and it's going to be nice.
It is nice. So that'll wrap up the month of April for us. There's a lot of events. If there's another event that I may have missed and you'd like the Sheriff's Office to be a part of it, reach out to myself or Lieutenant Seal, and we'd be happy to be a part of it. We have a long list of instructors with our Crime Prevention Speakers Bureau is what it's technically called. So if you have an event that you would like to have a Warren County Sheriff's Deputy present, just give us a call and we'll find a deputy that can present on the topic that you're looking for.
It's great.
So going into the month of May, we'll touch on a few things. We have some scholarships that will be on the 1st and the 11th for Skyline High School and Warren County Middle School, or Warren County High School, sorry. Warren County Sheriff's Office gives a scholarship every year, so those will be given out early May. And then we have our Triad Senior Expo. So that's coming up on May 9th. We'd like to invite everybody from the public to attend. You don't have to be a senior to attend. You can be a caregiver, you can be a family member, you can just be somebody who has an interest in learning more about some different topics.
Interesting.
We're going to have DSS there. They're going to present on elder abuse. The Attorney General will be there presenting on scams and frauds. We're going to have an attorney there, Kevin McKinnon from Winchester is going to show up, and he's going to talk about legal services for seniors. But they don't necessarily just apply for seniors.
Sure.
And at some point, even if you're in your 30s and 40s, we're all going to get there if we live long enough.
You mentioned the Attorney General. He's really active in going around the state participating in these type. He's been here several times, and he stood there and take questions. And
he's a great guy. We've met him a couple different times. I don't think he himself will be here. It's going to be one of his local area representatives.
Right. But he's active in this, and he's encouraging it.
He definitely is.
And just like the sheriff does. The sheriff doesn't always show up, but he's out there encouraging people to do these kind of things.
Well, if you remember, he's very accommodating when we had our signing ceremony last year.
Right.
So
He was here.
Yeah, all these programs are really an extension of like the sheriff allowing us to do it, but it's at his discretion.
Right.
And he's encouraged us to go out and do these things. Good. And I imagine Jason Mieres for the Attorney General is doing the same thing.
He's very active in that. He knows you got to involve the community in things. You just can't do it all by yourself.
Well, anytime I've asked, and we have a great relationship with Patty Mender. She's our local area public outreach coordinator for the Attorney General, and they've been accommodating. Anything we need, they make sure that they do for us.
That's great.
Another thing, I know we've talked about this a few different times. Weather has kicked some things down the road.
Right.
And being a military veteran, sometimes it's not the easiest to deal with the military and coordinate stuff. But we do have a finalized date for a burial of our unclaimed bodies. We have 2 individuals that qualify for a proper military burial, and they will be buried in Culpeper National Cemetery on May 12th.
Are you going to be doing a ceremony, a military?
There will be a military burial ceremony on May 12th. There'll be a procession that will start here in Warren County, and we are partnering with Missing in America. This is a nonprofit company that we have reached out to for assistance with being able to bury an unclaimed veteran, and they pretty much take the reins for us and coordinate everything. We just provide the body and people to help do the stuff.
Sure. Because you had quite a few unclaimed bodies over the last few years you've accumulated.
We've had 19 that has been accumulated to date.
Wow.
And out of those, 2 of them are eligible veteran burials. One, it's a husband and wife that is eligible. The husband was a sergeant, and I believe the Marines, if memory serves, and his wife. Okay. Both of them passed away within about 3 months of each other, and, well, nobody claimed them, unfortunately, so they ended up on the desk of the sheriff.
Right.
So we will make sure they have a proper burial and laid to rest with respect.
That's great.
Now, to go along with the rest of the unclaimed bodies, we hope to lay the rest of them to rest May 26th, which is a Friday at 1 p.m. at Prospect Hill Cemetery.
Okay.
We're going to coordinate everything with Prospect. They've been great. We have a grave up there that will accommodate all of our unclaimed bodies, and we will make this an annual thing. If we get another unclaimed body within the next 12 months, then next year at this time we'll try to schedule another burial. We're only going to do one burial a year in order to try to keep costs and stuff down. So if we accumulate, say, 4 or 5 bodies in that 10-year period or that 1 year period, we will bury all of those bodies at one time.
Okay.
And of course, I just want to add this, and I give credit where credit's due. This initiative was really based on this man's initiative of finding a means to take care of our unclaimed bodies. So kudos to my sergeant here for this initiative.
Well, you don't think about that as being a service that the sheriff provides. I mean,
well, unfortunately, when somebody passes away, they don't have to be a criminal. A lot of people think an unclaimed body that the sheriff gets is a criminal or someone that's an inmate. That's not necessarily the case. The case is we have somebody who lives within the community of Warren. They happen to pass away. They have no family. They could be a well-off individual that has a lot of money, just no family.
Right.
Well, they go unclaimed. So by code, the body goes to the sheriff's office, and we have to try to find someone to claim them. And if nobody can be found, no family members or nobody that comes forward that says, I want to claim this body, then it's our responsibility to dispose of the body. The code doesn't necessarily say how we dispose of it, and it just didn't sit very well with me. We need to have a proper way with respect and dignity to properly give someone a send-off. Just because they didn't have family doesn't mean that they don't deserve the same rights you and I have. Exactly. So in a previous agency I worked for, this was something that was an initiative that we wanted to do, and I don't know if it ever came to fruition, but here we had the same problem. So I wanted to attack it the same way and give them a proper
appreciate
burial.
that.
Few other things we have coming up in May. We have the Family Fun Day Parade. We'll be a part of that again. That's on the 13th. Again, we'll be doing our Reading with a Sheriff. That is our monthly thing, and it will be on May 17th. We were also invited to a first responder mass on the 20th, and we plan to be a part of that as well. Okay. And lastly, for the month of May, we've mentioned this a couple times. We had already signed the contract for the Army Pays. It's not really a contract, more or less an agreement.
Sure.
And what the Army Pays is, it gives us veterans that we can hire from. It's kind of like an Indeed for the Army.
Right.
And I know that's my summary of it. Army may say it's a slightly different, but it allows us to recruit veterans. So we can do job postings for the county of Warren. And it was an initiative Sheriff Butler had pushed. He said, I want to hire veterans. Veterans deserve an opportunity to come here and work here. And not that they necessarily get preferential treatment, but with the Army Pays program, it does guarantee an interview. So we post a job posting, say, Sheriff's Office. We have a deputy position. We'll post it. And people that are getting ready to get out of the Army, or they're in a schooling portion to where maybe they're stationed stateside, they can get hired and put an application in here. It will guarantee each veteran
at least an interview.
At least an interview.
Yes. Sometimes you don't even get that.
Yeah. We can't guarantee anything other than an interview, but that was part of the contract agreement with Army Pays, is that if they do apply, that we will at least give them an interview. And the interview could be something as simple as just a phone interview.
Sure.
Some of these individuals that are applying may not be local. They may be on the other side of the country in California.
Right.
So we can do video interviews or phone interviews.
At least they'll get a look-see. I mean, that's important. Sometimes that never happens.
And it's a great program because we get to give back to the veterans. They deserve it. They protect our country, so they deserve the opportunity to get an interview. Yep.
A few things in June.
Yeah, a few things.
June's a little shorter, but it'll grow.
Yes, it
will grow.
This first thing you have, that's a big deal.
That is a huge deal. What he's talking about is the Sheriff's Football Camp.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd annual football camp. We've partnered with So Moted Beef Barbecue and Will Bryan. He's kind of taken the lead on it.
He brings that trailer and starts cooking over there.
Yeah.
He's did the lead on the last
fantastic.
2 years, and we're working on getting some professional football players and coaches and area coaches for the high schools. So we're hoping to have Warren County High, Skyline High coach there. So that way, the people who are going to these football camps, these are the coaches you're going to see when you go try to play for one of the school teams.
Right.
We would also like to invite all the other area coaches, because this isn't just a Warren County event. This year, we're going to open it up to anybody who would like to attend it. So if you're in a neighboring jurisdiction and you'd like to come to our football camp, by all means, you are invited.
Sure.
So with that invite, we also want to invite other area schools. So if you have a high school football coach that would like to attend and help coach these kids, come on out. I'm going to be trying to reach out before the end of this month to all of the coaches and schools in the area to see if any of the coaches would like to help out.
The sheriff was in the other day for a town talk, and he mentioned the football camp, and he gave a long list of names. Of course, I didn't know any of them except Mark Mosley,
Right.
But people that are in it. But I did ask him if the Divas were coming back, and he assured me that they would.
Yeah.
So the ladies will be back. They were some tough players, I'm surprised.
So Will told me, and this happened actually yesterday, I believe the Divas yesterday said that they were going to be a part of the camp again this year.
That's good. Yeah.
I think Kirk Pierce is going to be a part of it. Mark Mosley. Trying to get a few other name players, but trying to get some NFL alumni.
It's the old saying, we've invited.
Yeah.
And we have invited a large number of individuals and trying to work with some current players and their,
Sometimes the schedules change real quick, so.
Or their agents, we've been working with the agents, and the agents will say there's conflicts with schedules.
Oh, yeah.
So we have had individuals sign stuff for a silent auction, and all the money that is raised will go towards reestablishing football in the middle schools.
Right, that's what we're trying to do, get football back in the middle schools. That's great.
And anything that takes to put on this football camp, because there's an expense to So Moted Beef Barbecue to pay for the shirts, pay for the food, and all this stuff. So it's a great program.
It is a great program.
It's going to be June 10th from 9 a.m. to about 4 p.m., give or take. It's going to be at the 15th Street School in the football field again. So
that's the DSS complex.
The DSS complex.
Yes.
We will be
Health and
pushing
Human
out
Services.
a flyer here real soon, hopefully within the next week or so.
Right.
There's an application process for it, so just fill out the application, and the applications actually go to So Moted Beef Barbecue.
Right. But it's free.
It is 100% free. The T-shirt will be free, the food's free, and the entertainment will be free.
That's right.
And any players or coaches that we get will be open to autographs, meet and greets, photos, that kind of stuff. So
kids really suck that stuff up. I mean, I was out there at the last one. We brought our camera, and they were involved. I mean, they were on point. Sheriff makes sure of it because if you're not with it, out the door.
So hopefully when we do our May talk, maybe I'll have some more concreted names who have agreed. But again, it's one of those things. We've invited a lot of people. We don't know if they'll actually make it when they get there.
Sure. But that's great. You got the Divas are coming. That's all.
The Divas, and I'm sure Mike
all that
will be
matters
there
to
for
Mike.
the Divas.
Let's send Mark over there with the camera. All right, we got a couple more things, and we'll let Robbie talk.
So July, the only other thing I have on July is going to be our Reading with the Sheriff program, and that will be on July 26th.
Yeah.
So
you're going to be busy for
that'll round out my
60,
next 4 months.
days. Well, yeah, and again, June will fill up really quick because I know this.
It will.
Because we've still got the July 4th, we got the Cardinals, we've got fireworks, we got the Fireman's Parade, we got the Fireman's Carnival, we got a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, I just don't have the concreted dates for everything and what our role and participation will be in. So in the next 90 days, I'll have
the zombie walk, and I know you guys will be involved in that.
Yeah.
Robbie.
Definitely.
Well, he doesn't walk like a zombie.
Well, I tell you what,
it's true.
I
They
used
won't
to do
pick him
a good
out.
impression before of a zombie walk, but now I don't know if I can do it now.
That knee's working
Now
good.
that knee's working good, I don't have to.
Are you doing that therapy like they talk about? I mean, you got to do the therapy.
Well, yeah, definitely.
That's
I did
important.
7 weeks of it and everything.
That's
so,
important.
All
right, so you got
All right,
3 things
Tag,
on your
you're
list.
I tell you what, it's so nice to be here and just listen to someone else just take off with everything that we're doing and everything.
Well, you should have seen it when you weren't here.
10 minutes and we were done.
Oh, that's right. It was right there. Well,
Well, I'm only going to comment on two things.
We got three things.
Well, actually three. But actually, the first one is our speed trail. I don't know if I ever mentioned this before. Our speed trailer survey.
No.
Yeah. When we came aboard, of course, Sheriff's Office had a speed trailer, and anybody's familiar with speed trailers.
That's that little radar thing.
That's
says,
a little apparatus that that pretty much monitors speed out there when it comes to motorists traveling on the highways. So when I came aboard, and I looked at our speed trailer, and I sort of looked at, well, we really hadn't, or the previous Sheriff's Office had not really utilized this speed trailer for the real purposes what it could be used for. And of course, you can download the data, if you will,
Right.
that on a survey. And so we started utilizing the speed trailer just for those purposes and going out in the neighborhoods, whether it be complaint based by citizens that felt they had a speeding issue in their neighborhood, or from the Sheriff's Office own initiatives on problem areas that we thought, roadways we thought were having a lot of speed issues.
Sure.
And so the good thing about it is, in my experience, an experience that in utilizing the trailer, when we get complaints, a lot of the speed is perception a lot of times.
Sure.
Because people don't have a radar gun indicating how fast someone's going.
Sometimes, size of the vehicle. My wife, you're going too fast. I'm going 28 miles an hour.
You just know
35.
people are speeding because they're going too fast. So generally, we'll get those type of complaints, and we'll address them. Either way, whether you're a law enforcement officer going out there and doing a radar assignment, sitting in your car running radar, or in this case, we utilize our speed trailer as well. So the interesting thing about it when we did the surveys is they say 80% of the crimes committed by 20% of the population.
Sure.
Well, that applies across the board, even to speed as well. So, and doing these speed surveys, what I found out in the speed surveys that I've done in neighborhoods is you'll get the total vehicle count, and, just like the speeding, I look at the 10 miles per hour over the limit, posted speed limit. And the average is 3 to 5%. You could have 6,000 vehicle count,
right.
But 3 to 5% is sort of the average of the speeders
that pushes
that pushes 10 miles per hour or over. So what does that tell you for the most part? Probably the same people doing it. Live in a neighborhood
right.
that by behavior they like to speed or they go too fast. So it's sort of, in a way, it does two. The speed trailer is twofold in what it accomplishes. One
It's a
is
deterrent.
It's a deterrent. Absolutely, because obviously, when them lights, if you're going over speed limit, them red and blue lights, that your heart's up here, right? So, and two, it educates the neighborhood exactly what, if any, speed issues they have, speeding problem they have. So yeah, generally, this is something a tool that we use if there's any neighborhoods out there that feel they have issues with speeding. Please call us. We'd be more than happy to allocate our speed trailer in your neighborhood and do a survey and then send it to you and pretty much let you know exactly what, if anything, type speeding's going on in the neighborhood.
It looks like if it's above that, if it's a little high, then you'll just have a patrol car over there.
Well, and thus, because what one of the things we also do as a follow up is if we feel there is a big speeding problem out there, then what I'll do is Terry and I will contact our patrol division and let them know, hey, we got some issues out on this road, like our sergeants to assign deputies out there and monitors, enforce radar.
Sure.
So absolutely, yeah.
Sure.
So other than that, a big initiative on our CCPC program, and Terry mentioned it, but this we just recently
Don't be using jargon. Tell us what it means.
received accreditation. Sheriff's Office. I think Sheriff.
Okay.
CCPC is a Certified Crime Prevention Community.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't elaborate on that.
No.
We use the acronym CCPC because it goes
You guys
faster.
have all these acronyms. No one knows what that stuff is. But that accreditation, the sheriff's talked about that, and we've had some video you can watch about it, but that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So the Certified Crime Prevention Community is a designation by DCJS, which is our authority figure in the Commonwealth that gives us the power to do law enforcement. It certifies us, also an accreditation, those kinds of things. So this is another designation very similar to accreditation, but it's for our community policing and crime prevention initiatives. And it governs how we do things, what our goals are and objectives, how we are going to achieve those things, and what services that we are going to provide to the community. And there's 19 of them, 12 core, and then 7 additional ones that we have to do. Yeah. And that's the minimum. But as you know, Sheriff Butler, we don't do just the minimum. Yeah. We have to do the minimum and then exceed it by probably at least 10%. Yeah. So we're working hard to get this to go through. The major's been a huge person that has lifted a lot of the CPC stuff to the forefront and making it happen.
And there are only, correct me if I'm wrong, what used to be 12, I think it's knocked down to 9. I think 9 or 10.
There's 12 cores that.
No, I mean communities that are certified.
Oh, it used to be 12, and now it's down to 9.
9.
So we're hoping to be the 10th.
The 10th in the whole Commonwealth. So this is a big undertaking. This is almost bigger than reaccreditation that we attained.
Sure,
so.
sure.
Well, accreditation has 4 core elements, and this is 19.
Yeah.
So
well,
a little bit
that
bigger.
means that people are keeping an eye on you.
Yeah.
Which is important.
So one of the things that I'm really big on, talking about the 19 elements that we're looking to obviously implement with this, for the certification, is we're really focusing. I'm really focusing on neighborhood watch programs, and so I'll be out there contacting our subdivisions, our HOA, POAs out there to get with them, get with their boards, and push the neighborhood watch initiatives to establish them in those neighborhoods.
It's kind of fell off. It used to be a big. You used to see the signs, and people were really active. And COVID came along, and other things happened, and it kind of like just disappeared.
So Neighborhood Watch had to evolve, as with everything else, and it has evolved into the social media spectrum. Now we have a program, it's called Nextdoor. So if you go to nextdoor.com, you can sign up for a free account, and you can start a community or join a community. There's probably one already. There's a number of communities, I don't have the exact number, within Warren County that are already established. So I think there's 6,000 and some people
members
count for members that are using it. And it's a great way to push out what's going on in your neighborhood. If you notice suspicious activity or kids vandalizing stuff, push it out through Nextdoor. We also are a part of Nextdoor for the sheriff's office. It's just one of our community watches that we do. Or you can go to the nationalneighborhoodwatch.org and you can register a community to start an actual neighborhood watch. So we are doing a community watch. We have a new brochure that's come out that will encompass 3 different watches, which is going to be your neighborhood watch, and it's also going to do business watch and faith watch.
Thank you, Terry.
So I know that these are some things that Lieutenant Seal is going to talk about.
No, go ahead with
but for those that don't,
stealing all his thunder.
Well,
I love it.
I've had to have my hands so involved in the CCPC stuff, so we've had to create some new things. One of the new things we created was this brochure. So I'm very familiar with what is encompassing the brochure with the Neighborhood Watch and Nextdoor and National Neighborhood Watch. But we're also trying to do a business watch. The business watch is going to be for all the area businesses. So let's use Riverton Commons. So all of the businesses that are in that group, we would like for them to come together. So if they are noticing crime trends, shoplifters, bad checks, or loitering, homeless population hanging out and destroying or vandalizing stuff. Anything that you think would be noteworthy for crime prevention would be stuff you would share. So we want to try to create like a business council or an email tree so that way we can share the information. If Walmart's loss prevention comes up and says, hey, this is the individual that just stole from us, they can immediately take a photo and push it out through a email tree. And now all the businesses get to see that individual and could potentially have somebody that matches that description in their business trying to steal from them.
Well,
so it could help them.
And they need to get ahead of it because we see in other communities, especially you see Portland and other communities where 4 Walmarts pull out of a community and a grocery store closes down downtown, and it's all about crime, the things that happen, and
And not only that, we we also want to be involved with our businesses, especially our big businesses that may have employee days, like a family day, at their facility to to have the sheriff's office there, and we could share our, swag, our wares, if you will, of crime prevention and any other type of safety topics that we could share with the families that attend it. So just building those relationships again. So,
but other things we can offer to the businesses or to anybody really. We have a certified crime prevention specialist. I actually wear one of those hats. That's me. So one of my jobs and responsibilities is SEPTED, which is crime prevention through environmental design. So if there's a business that just kind of unsure whether or not they are meeting the SEPTED guidelines, or maybe they want to increase their security or crime prevention strategies for their business, they could call me. I could go through, do a walkthrough, give them a security assessment, and make recommendations. And that's just what they are. They're just recommendations. There's nothing that says you have to do this. They can pick and choose which ones they want to adhere to. And it's basically something as simple as you should probably put lights here because this area of your parking lot is unlit and could have crime. Some of it could be barriers for the front doors so people don't ram it with a car, or other security measures, having cameras in areas where there's a high theft possibility. Those are just some of the items that we talk about, but there's a long list of crime prevention things.
Or they might be doing something right, and that's good to know that prioritize and this is some key things here.
So we've did a couple of those audits for businesses within the community already. So I offer that service to anybody that would like to request a SEPTED walkthrough. Just reach out to me, and I'll be more than glad to come to your business and do a walkthrough.
Great. Well, you guys are just loaded with all sorts of stuff, things that you don't even think the sheriff's office was involved in, but it's great. I think it's part of our community policing. It's a great service. And I think, and we see it in the statistics. The sheriff went over those at an event and pushed out a lot of this, comparing years, what we've done in the past and how it's moving forward. And a big increase. The one that I really liked was the response time. I mentioned to someone that this response time is like cut in half. What it is. Someone said, well, I called the sheriff and it took 20 minutes to get there, but it used to take 40 minutes to get there. I remember those days. If you lived out on Apple Mountain or Shenandoah Farms, it might be an hour or more before you've seen a deputy show up, 20 years ago. Now it's just 4 or 5 minutes. Someone's on the spot. So it's all about putting your priorities in the right place and just an overall picture of where things are going. That's great.
It is. And I tell you what, we talked earlier about the influx of how we build partnerships and everything. And it's year 3 right now under Sheriff Butler's tenure. And each year, you talk about a gauge and how well we're doing, and the positive things that we're doing out here on the community policing level is we have a lot of people calling us now, wanting the sheriff's office involved in their events, their programs and everything. So that's great. That right there is testament to exactly what the sheriff wanted us to do with this community policing program. And it's just like you said, Mike. It's just, you see the list and you see everything that's going on.
Well, one thing too, I want to encourage people to. If, like I just mentioned, that statistic, and you have another feeling that it's not true, call the sheriff's office, because they want to know about things. If a deputy takes 40 minutes to show up, he wants to know.
Yes.
And just don't tell everybody else. Tell the sheriff, and he'll answer his phone. He'll respond, or one of his deputies will be involved, because he, like you said, wants to make it better. So sometimes we throw out these statistics, and other people will hear them, and, that's not the way I perceive it. But if it isn't, reach out, because they want it.
He can't fix a problem that he doesn't know about.
Exactly.
So,
absolutely.
And that's the biggest thing. A lot of people are upset and said, well, the sheriff's office does this or that. Well, if you don't call us and you don't tell us what the problem is, we may not know what the problem is, and we can't address a problem we don't know about.
I tell them about problems all the time. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming in.
Yes.
We'll see you again next month, but there's a lot of cool things happening in our community.
I've got one more thing.
You've got one more. Okay.
One more. Best for last. We've been working on this for quite a while. It's the Citizens Police Academy, or Sheriff's Academy.
Right.
Since we're not police, we're sheriff's deputies. That's so we're going to have the sheriff's deputy program come in.
Law Enforcement Academy.
There you go. That works. Yes. We're targeting a start date for August. We're going to be pushing out a flyer and application, so watch our social media page. If you'd like to be a part of the first Citizens Academy that we will be doing, We'd love to have you. We're going to invite our CAC members to be a part of it, but anybody in the community that is interested in learning more about law enforcement and what law enforcement does, please sign up. It's going to be an 8-week academy. So we're targeting a Thursday and every week thereafter from the start after 8 weeks, and then you'll graduate.
That's it. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I just wanted to get it on people's radar now
Sure.
because this is a huge undertaking. A lot of planning goes into it. So we didn't really want to put on an 8-week program, have all these instructors come in if we get 3 people to sign up.
Exactly.
So if I can start the process now, if you have an interest in the Citizens Academy, go ahead and reach out. I'll go ahead and give you the application even if it's before it's posted.
You'd be surprised at how many people have an interest in that.
Oh, yeah.
We've done things like that, and I know the police department did one a few years ago, and it just overwhelmed with the number of people that wanted to be
Well, the
part
biggest
of
thing
it.
that I've noticed that the public likes is we have a machine called the FATS machine, which is a firearm simulator. We love putting people in that predicament because we are always critiqued on whether we shot somebody or didn't shoot somebody.
Yeah.
And we put them in a shoot, don't shoot scenario. And majority of the time, they always shoot, even if it was a no shoot scenario.
Right, exactly.
Just to give the public an understanding of what it is that we go through and the training that we have in a split second
and how long
decision.
it takes to respond to something. Also, your beer goggle cart. That's all.
That's entertaining too.
You always have those at some of these events too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've seen the people trying to
Oh,
put
yeah.
the goggles on.
DUI,
and,
yeah.
The DUI thing. But that's a tool that
It
you
is,
can
it
use
is.
to make people aware of things.
Gives
So,
them-
We'll have the beer goggles at the fair this year again, like we
Mm-hmm.
did last year, and we hope to have the distracted driving simulator there again. So that they were big hits at the fair.
Yes, it
So more stuff coming up in August.
There we go.
all right, guys, appreciate it. We will
Yep.
see you next month. Okay.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thanks again.
All right.